Welcome to Life is Art. Today we talked about parenting, trauma, even talked about gift giving. We were all over the map and it was just like a really fun conversation. Wherever you're listening to this from, your reality just gonna get a whole lot better. Enjoy. What were you in the middle of just saying?
We were talking about parenting. We did the whole podcast before we actually started the podcast.
That happens.
Yeah.
Wait, what were we talking about? Do you remember?
We were saying parenting out of fear.
Yeah.
That really, you could go through a million different techniques, I feel like, of parenting, but at the end of the day, is that if you work on yourself and you're parenting from a grounded, calm, worked on place, then you can trust your intuition. Like Hashem gave you that child, you're born with that intuition. And if you are operating out of a place of fear that you might mess up, or you might mess your kids up, or they might turn out who knows what, or they might go off the derech, or they might have an eating disorder.
People get very nervous about this. Like how do I know if my kid's gonna turn out normal? And then we do things right. We end up parenting out of fear. But when you think about it, when it comes down to the root of it, what I like to think of is it giving or taking? Because that's what parenting, it's what everything in life is. Am I truly giving? Am I truly taking? And a lot of times when we're giving, we're actually taking. And a lot of times when we're taking, we're actually giving. It doesn't necessarily mean that one is the absolute way.
Right.
And sometimes when we give our kids something, we're like, okay, sure. We're taking from them because we want them to be happy. Therefore, they're not going to end up doing something wrong, or we have an agenda that we want from them. So we're giving to them, but we're truly taking from them.
Right. We want them to think that we're good parents, so we're giving them what they want. So that we get that love from our kids.
The love, right? I remember, for a very long time, I had this with Yehuda. I would always get so frustrated because I was like, I'm giving him this and I'm doing him that, and I'm always and then I always had this feeling of this pent up resentment. Why is it just it's never enough? And then I'm like, no, it hit me like a ton of bricks one day. I'm like, you want something from him. You want his love. You need his love. I'm like, whoa. I have to come from a place of the truest, purest form of parenting where I don't need his love. I'm not getting anything from him. I'm just giving to him because this is my desire and this is my child. I just want to give over purely. And then now when he is upset or whatever, it's a whole different. This is why I learned this concept because of him, because he had this emotional thing going on with me. And once I learned this, now we're separated, but it's so healthy.
He's your oldest, right?
He's my oldest. It's so healthy because now it's okay.
I have the same thing with my son.
I know if you're upset about something, then if there's
an enmeshment that happens a lot of times.
I truly know that this is the right way. I feel good about my decision, and I know that it's the truest form of giving, and I'm not going to waver in my emotions because of your emotions. You know, it gives you, it's such a maturity in parenting.
Right.
And I do think that a lot of parents, humans in general, we have agendas. We want things to happen a certain way, and we have ulterior motives.
Right.
You know,
you have a vision for your child that he's a certain way, and a lot of times those come back to your own ego, meaning you want your kid to be a certain way because you're nervous how it's going to reflect on you. Or everything kind of comes back to you. You're doing things because you want to get nachas from your kids. The nachas will come regardless. But if you're doing it for that, if that's your end goal, then it's not gonna.
Yeah, or shidduchim. How many parents do everything for shidduchim and their whole life is shidduchim, and then their kid enters shidduchim, and then it's it's not all what it was cracked up to be, and it doesn't just, they don't walk off on the magic carpet ride. We have to be very intentional and authentic with our intentions.
I think it's fear exists in the future. It's anxiety based. If you're parenting over a potential outcome in the future, right? Sometimes parents, I feel it happens in a snap second, but they see their kids doing a certain behavior and they're already 100,000 steps ahead. Yeah, of what that behavior means.
My kids are like, why do you always talk about marriage? What? I'm like, because you're going to get married. This is important. You can't do this. You can't act like this. But the truth is, I need to calm down.
Right. If your kid's having a meltdown, you're oh my gosh, what if they're still having meltdowns when they're 25?
Right.
Or they're 30, or they're getting married and they're having tantrums on their spouse. And you have all those fears of what that behavior might mean for the future. And then so instead of reacting to just what's happening in the moment, or even underneath what's happening in the moment, you're reacting to a fear that you've had of something that might not ever come into reality.
Right.
When you're saying that future-based parenting as
yeah.
opposed to present, you know?
Right.
I think that it's also what parents do, and it's good. It's not bad to seek outside advice and to read books and to talk to professionals, but what people do is they're constantly like outside seeking instead of turning inward and being like, what is my gut saying
Did you
that
read
I
the
should
book
do?
Bad Therapy?
I didn't read it, but I read. You
have to read it.
It's a big topic, Abigail Schreier. It's like a whole. It was like when the book first came out, it was like all over, and it's
Where is it a big topic?
everywhere. She was on like every major like news outlet. It was like a huge conversation. It was everywhere.
It's a bit extreme. I'm not going to lie. There are parts of the book that
I don't agree with everything in the book.
But the premise of the book is so beyond fresh, and like I could kiss it. It was so good. Like she basically said like how, you know, we don't have to label our kids, like what I was telling you before, like when we label our kids things, we're almost like excusing ourselves because I don't have a problem. I'm not doing bad parenting. The kid was born this way and therefore he or she is bad or whatever, messed up, wrong, and I just got this, you know? And so we just like to take all the responsibility and put it on the label, and people do this to themselves also. And then in the end of the book, like towards the end, she starts talking about how, yes, parents, you know the answer. The answer is within you, like exactly what you're saying. Like we have intuition. We don't need to listen to every single thing that's out there all the time and like get to, this person should help my kid. A therapist, drop him off. He's gonna have the magic answer. You have the magic answer because only you are you and only you had your kid.
But you can only access the magic answer if you work on yourself. It's not going to just happen. Like you can't just be born and have the magic answers, because if your own ego and your own fears and all that stuff is getting in the way,
it's not about working on yourself. I think it's more about like
self-awareness.
Just trusting yourself, like just knowing that like, wait, maybe I know, like just listening to yourself.
But it's maybe I know, but then to be able to know whether or not, like where, if you're coming from a place of fear, ego, and all those things, like you could listen to yourself and be like, okay, I don't have to listen to anyone else. I know what's best for my child. But then also like the decisions that you're making for your child, where are they coming from? That's also really important.
So she's not talking to like those kinds of people, the like egotistical, like know-it-all people. She's talking to the insecure parents who aren't sure and are so they're so nervous. They have to read every parenting book and they can't make a decision before they speak to a parenting expert. Like maybe you don't, you know, just stop it.
No, and also I really think that like, you know how we talk about how like Hashem puts that neshama in your life and that neshama chooses you as their parents, and it's like a big part of that, I mean, is like the answer, like you have within you like that intuition to give that child what they need.
Right.
And it's just, we get like, I think that parents just get in their own way so often.
Right.
And also it's very hard because let's say you have a child that's struggling, sometimes a technique that you need to, let's say, use for one child is not going to work for another child, and that's where your intuition comes in. So you can't go to like an expert and they'd be like, oh, this is how you should raise your kids. And it's like, I think that with Abigail Schreier, her biggest point is that people are using trauma-informed parenting and therapy to raise kids that don't have trauma.
Across the board.
Exactly.
Right. It doesn't work for everybody.
So like there's a lot of techniques out there that for special cases you need, and it's there, and she's not against therapy. There are cases where it's necessary, but
she's pretty against it.
Yeah, no, but I've heard her like
she's
on
very
talk shows.
One way. She was in the book. She's very one way, and all the trauma therapists, she kind of almost like negates their experiences, which I don't agree with. Trauma therapy, for me personally, I know trauma and I know what it is, and those books really helped me.
Right.
But that's me personally. I'm not 100% of people. I'm a one, maybe like a point something percent who actually experienced something along those lines.
Right.
So for me, it really did make a difference, and I know from the other side. So when I was reading the book, I know about all, like she was talking about Gabor Mate and Dr. LaPella. Like I know those people really helped me a lot.
Right.
So coming from all my knowledge, when I heard her, I see it, I understand what she's saying, but there is a place for them too.
Right.
But we just can't parent everyone under that umbrella, because most people, and I'm not into the big T trauma, little T trauma. Trauma's trauma. Like, okay, if your teacher yelled at you when you were in school, get over it. Like she says that, get over it. You can still be a functioning adult. That's called little T trauma according to many people. But I'm not a buyer of like the different kind of traumas. Trauma's a traumatic thing. Trauma is not a word that's like, oh yeah, it affected me and this, my brain got altered in this way, like my emotions got altered. No, that's not trauma. That's just an experience that you had.
Right.
That's okay. So we were talking about bad therapy.
Yeah, bad therapy. Regardless of the title, I will just say bad therapy is really bad.
Right, that's
from personal experience.
That is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, parents need to have much more of intuition and bringing it back home, because like what you said, every soul is meant for that parent. So no one knows the extension of your soul as much as you do.
Right. And sometimes there are things that you feel out of your depth, and it's okay to seek advice.
Yes.
But it shouldn't be like
Someone
what's
else
it
is
called?
parenting
The
your
peanut
child.
gallery, right? Like where like you're frozen and you're just waiting for like everyone else to tell you what to do. It's like sometimes you can be out of your depth. It's not something that you're prepared for. So you seek out advice, but then you also have to use your intuition to filter out which advice you should listen to and which ones you shouldn't. Because sometimes people will give you advice and it's like so from their own limited experiences that it's not even helpful.
Right.
So.
You shouldn't feel that like the responsibility of parenting your child is on somebody else.
Yeah.
It's on you.
Yeah.
It's not on the teacher, and it's not on the therapist, and it's on you.
Right.
At the end of the day.
I think also just so much of it is also when you're I'm trying to think of the words. When you're I mean, this is just me personally, but I find that I get really like when I feel like I'm out of my depth, right? Like something happens, like as soon as I have that fear of like, what if I mess this up, or I don't know how to handle it, and your mind is moving a million miles a minute. Sometimes you're not even aware that you're having those thoughts, but it just gets you to like a point of like, either you're like elevated or a little dysregulated, and then like you totally lose access to like your intuition in those moments. And like, that's okay. I think like the number one thing in parenting is repair. Like you're going to mess up. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna lose it at your kids, however that looks for you, or you're gonna
Yeah, we're just like two human beings interacting. So
Exactly.
There's obviously going to be points of tension, and like sometimes that things get blurred. But right, it's about reflection and repair and being able to say, I messed up, I'm sorry.
Right.
Like you can say I'm sorry to your kids.
there are people that are really anti that, and I'm
Really?
like, yeah,
What?
that like you don't owe them an apology. It like messes up the dynamic.
Really?
Yes.
Never heard about that before. Wait,
Yeah.
tell me more.
It's like it's a little bit more of an old school approach, but it's just like I don't owe you an apology because we're not equal, so I don't have to explain myself to you. So if I mess up, that's on me, but I don't have to discuss with you that I messed up.
I don't owe you an explanation if I decide something is the way it's going to be and that's the way it's going to be.
Right.
I don't necessarily think that that is always the way to go. I think when people
I
have an
agree.
explanation, they're much more willing to compromise. But I do think that you have to say sorry if you mess up. We're human. You're human.
It's a relationship. It's
and
any
then you teach your
relationship.
kids how to say sorry
Yeah.
if they see you say sorry. It's uncomfortable. I hate doing it, but
Yeah.
you have
No,
to.
it's really important because then you're modeling for your kids how to act when they mess up in relationships, and you're also showing them that it's okay to mess up.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. You're showing them that, and for themselves to feel like
Yeah.
they can apologize to themselves.
Yeah.
Like happens to be Yoel on Sunday. He's very like he I don't know what he is. He's just like he moves around a lot. He doesn't have ADHD. He's fine, but he moves around a lot. Everything. He's just very like touchy-feely, energetic. Like, he lays down. He puts his feet on the wall. Like if he's sitting, he's fumbling. It's very hard for me. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just very hard. It's a lot of sensory going on, and what's it called? So on Sunday,
It could also be, I mean, you know him better than I do, so like, but it could also sometimes, my son does the same thing, and the school was 100% certain that it was ADHD.
he doesn't do this in school.
Okay,
In
so
school, he sits perfectly fine. I think it's his brain. He's so smart and he's so fast that his brain needs to be moving and doing something. And
Right.
if he's not doing something, he doesn't know what to do with himself. So in school, he's great. He's stimulated. He's working. He finishes. The teacher gives him another sheet, another sheet, another sheet, another sheet. He's busy. His brain's active. But at home, he's not. So
He's
his brain,
understimulated at
his
home.
brain, like since he's little, his brain is so much faster than his body. So he's trying to catch up, and like he can't. So he's just like he needs to like tone it down.
Yeah.
And I'm always like chill, but it's hard for him. So the other day he was coming inside the house. He was playing outside. And he's coming inside, and again, like he's rushing, and like he flies through the side door, and like he tried to open it. I don't know what he did, but like he banged himself on, like he banged like the side of his body into the door to like turn and bang at the same time, and like he cracked the door. All of a sudden, I hear like a big boom, and I was like, what was that? Like, and then I saw the door. I'm like, oh, that's what it was. Shoot. And then he freaked and he ran to the front door to come inside, pretending like no one saw. And like everyone heard the bang. We're like, yo, what happened? And then he like got so defensive. He's like, nothing happened. And he flew upstairs, went under his blanket. And he was so mad. And then I'm like, okay, Nasana, like we went to check on the cameras just to make sure that we didn't want to like accuse him if it wasn't accurate. And like, of course, he really banged the whole thing up. And then I'm like, Nasana, go talk to him, like go calm him down. He's so nervous. Like I didn't even care at that point that he did it. I was just like, I felt so bad for him. And then Nasana went and like he had to really, because he's also a perfectionist, so he hates that he made a mistake. He was like getting so mad. And Nasana went to calm him down, and he's talking to him. It took a very long time to calm him down. And then in the end, Nasana's like, okay, now go acknowledge what you did to mommy, and then like say sorry. He didn't have to say sorry to me. He didn't do anything wrong to me, but he did. He came over, and I'm like, yo, honestly, I'm not even upset because you're so upset. So you gave yourself the punishment. What I am upset about, though, is that you couldn't acknowledge that you made a mistake. Because if you can't acknowledge that you did something wrong, you can't fix it. So like just that acknowledgement, if we're not able to acknowledge on ourselves, then there's no way for repair.
Right.
Like what you're saying. You
Yeah.
know, that
Yeah.
was a big lesson for him, I hope. I hope
It
it
is.
went in.
It is. Listen, it may or may not stick with him, but there'll be other opportunities, and like he'll get.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not worried. I feel like when you talk about like each of your kids, I'm like, I feel like all of it is rolled up into my
Right.
one kid.
The culmination. Yeah.
It's just like he's all of those things.
Well, I think it's also like a certain level of cognitive brain. Like,
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
a high level brain. So
Yeah.
yeah, your kid likes Catan, my kids like Catan. You know,
Yeah.
like, it's like that. They play backgammon and chess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to have similar issues that come along with
Yeah.
that.
They're like too smart for their own good.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, also there's this, I mean, giftedness is a whole separate thing because like schools in general are like focused on like the average kid and like mediocrity. And then like when a lot of schools are equipped to deal with kids that are behind, but people are failing to realize how bad or difficult it is for kids who are ahead.
Right.
And
I know. So there was an article like that in the AMI, and the teacher was saying, like, I'm sorry, like your child's gifted, thank God, and like I can't deal with him. Like there's so many kids in the class, like I'm just not capable of like feasibly. It's not going to work. Like I can't.
Right, but that's part of the problem with
it's
the
an
school
issue,
system.
right.
But it is an issue, and it's like, but they won't say that to someone with special needs.
Right.
And honestly, it's the exact same thing. It's a special need.
It is a special need.
It's a special need.
Just a different kind.
Just a different kind.
I know. So what I said the same thing to the teacher, and the teacher said like, okay, in the meantime, he just helps the other kids. I'm like, if he's learning how to help and how to be like be of service,
And if he's not acting out
fine.
and he's fine, like, yeah.
whatever, and I complement it
Yeah.
at home and whatever. Like I'm taking the boys out in a couple of
Extracurriculars
weeks.
are
Where I'm
really
gonna take
good.
them out to like the Anne Frank museum in the city. You know, I'm like, that's educational. Like, why
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
can't they go there? I don't care unless it's a day of school.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a different kind of problem.
It's a different kind of problem, but like I've seen firsthand like how damaging it could be for the kids because you feel like you don't belong. Like you don't feel like I mean, I had a little bit of this when I was in school, but I had, I think because I'm creative, I had such like a strong inner world that like I was able to just draw or like keep myself entertained. But I've had siblings that don't have that same ability.
I have a question. Like, everyone says that they feel like they don't belong. I'm just curious, who belongs? Is that like who is normal?
Right.
Who is
True.
average?
But there is
I know.
averageness.
Chase Taub talks about this a lot. The
There is average.
neurodivergence and how he always felt different. And then he was saying on the podcast, like, yeah, there is a certain element of the 80% being normal, but everyone keeps saying how they felt like they were different.
Right.
So I'm like, who's the same?
It's not, I didn't feel different or special. I just knew that I wasn't the same as my friends. So like we would have conversations and I just knew that we weren't on the same level and I was okay with that. I didn't need to be on the same level, but I just knew that I was different. It's not like I felt like I didn't belong because I really got along with my friends and I felt like I had a place and like on a social, like from a social aspect.
I think you
felt
were
like
smart enough to figure out how to maneuver.
or I wasn't so smart that when like I was right on the fence because when you're too smart, then you can't figure it out because it's like you have to be like right in that like middle zone.
100%. I know.
Like
what you
you're
mean.
much smart, like you could be a lot smarter than everyone in your class, but you're not at that point where like you can't live in this world. There are people that are so smart that like they just can't engage with society. It's
Right.
and socially they really struggle, and like that's really when it's an issue. So like I'm very thankful that like I'm smart, but not too smart.
Right, I know. That's what I always said with my kids.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to be so good at anything. Like, let them be normal.
Yeah.
Like, normal, smart, normal, just normal.
Yeah.
They don't have to stick out so much. It's
Yeah.
not.
It's really hard.
Right, it's
Yeah.
hard.
Listen, there's so, you could get into so many details of different approaches to parenting, and I think it's good. But at the end of the day, it really does come down. It's very simple. It's like, work on yourself and trust yourself. And like at the end of, and then you'll be a good parent.
And that's it. Right. And
And
be
that's
normal.
it.
Can we
Yeah.
be normal? Being normal is good. Not normal in the other sense that we were just talking about.
yeah.
Like, embrace your differences, but at the same time, be normal. Just like, don't go too extreme. Like, if you're a crunchy parent, don't give your kids oatmeal all day. Like, you also
Right.
can buy them some candies. It's okay. And like, if you can't say the
Balance.
word television, like, you could still your kids could still watch something here and there. You just want to give them a taste of like just being normal wherever they are in life. Like,
Balance.
like somebody I know, she was saying how like her son, she lives in an affluent community and her son goes to an affluent school, and she's not. I'm saying she prides herself in being restrictive and conservative and very careful and thrifty. She enjoys
Like fiscally,
that.
yeah.
She likes that. It's part of her value system, which go pop off. Enjoy, you do you. But the thing is that she's putting her son in this kind of environment and situation. You have to understand that you have to give a little because it's not fair to your child. So you can't give him over the values that you believe in if you're going to put him in a situation that doesn't have those values. So
Right.
either move, or you have to bend a little and give, and just give him just an overall scope that he can have a taste. He doesn't have to have all of it, but if she's gonna keep pulling back and being like, this is my value, you have to agree with me. This is my value. This is what's important. See, but it's not. He's in school with all these, rich kids who have so much. He also wants name brands, so
Right.
you're gonna have to be able to give him a little piece of candy here and there, and maybe he can earn it, or it could be a Hanukkah present. However you want to do it. But if you're gonna take everything away from a kid with what's important in their world, they're gonna end up resenting you.
They're going to feel like outcasts, and they're going to blame you for that feeling of being outcast.
Right. So just
Yeah.
be normal, and whatever that means, wherever you are, in whatever society you are living in, you have to conform a little bit and just make your kids feel like they're part of it.
I feel like they're part of a community. It's also really good. Like, I grew up with such a strong sense of community. It was really amazing. And that was like moving to New York. That's like one of the hard things. Like, you go from like knowing everyone to just being anonymous. It's just like,
Yeah, in New York, you kind of have to like form your own.
you have to
be
build
proactive.
it. You have to be very proactive. It doesn't just happen.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And it takes a lot of time. Like,
Yeah, it takes time, and it takes like a willingness. Like, you have
Yeah.
to want it. You have to put yourself out there.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Side.
very different
Yeah,
than out of
tangent.
town.
Yeah. But I think that kids really, when you care a lot about what other people think, your kid's going to do exactly the same thing. So it's also like being that fiscally conservative. Like, if it's coming from like a real, like, I wonder, this is just me speculating, but I wonder, like that example that you gave, if it's coming from a place of like total, just like an internal, like, I think that when it comes from like a real place of like inner strength or like
I don't
inner,
think it is.
that's what I'm saying.
I
Then,
don't think it is.
then what ends up happening is that balance happens naturally, right? Because you feel confident in your
Again,
decisions.
it's the intention behind
Right,
it. That
it's the
really,
intention
the
behind it.
purity could be sensed and felt.
Right.
And
But when it's coming
not,
from like you're trying to like prove a point and
prove a
like
point,
overcompensate.
or you want to have more savings, or you're nervous, you don't want to spend, or you have scarcity and you're covering that up by saying it's a value. There could be so many things there. The
Right.
kids sense everything.
Exactly.
And they resent it.
Right.
And they reject it.
Right.
I know firsthand. Like,
Because I, like, growing up, I did not feel the pressure. There were kids that had designer things, and I would say 90% of the time, I did not feel that pressure. And I think it's
because you guys were wholesome and your parents just, it wasn't a thing.
exactly, that's
It
what I'm
wasn't a
saying.
thing.
So
It
when you
wasn't-
make it a thing, then your kid is going to want it.
Right.
And
Right.
when you're just normal about it, then it's like they get it. Like, they're like, there were certain things. There was one thing I really wanted, a juicy sweatshirt, right? That was like, I
remember
juicy
those
necklace,
days.
juicy necklace, juicy sweatshirt, and I was like dying for a juicy sweatshirt. And my mother was very much like, why do you need to have a juicy sweatshirt? Like, why can't I just get you a sweatshirt? I'm like, everyone has it. And it was just like it was like I went through this one phase of this juicy sweatshirt thing. And so we ended up, she's like, okay, what does a normal sweatshirt cost? $20, $25? Okay, I'll give you $25 towards it. And then you can use your babysitting money or whatever it is to buy the rest. It's not like I'm against you having it.
I love that. That's so
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
And that teaches you how to get what you want.
Yeah.
That teaches you how to be creative, and it teaches you to value. Because like, you're not just gonna get something for free and then you don't care about it.
Right.
You'll lose it. Now you care about it. You
Yeah.
you invested in it. I think that's great. I think
Yeah.
that more parents should do that. I think that we should not be giving our kids everything. Like,
Yeah.
for what? Why? Because you were born?
Right.
It's nice.
Right. So like in that situation, you're recognizing the need, that there's like a social need, right? So you can have it, but like this is what it's normal to spend on a sweatshirt. So like if you're gonna want more than that, then like that's fine. But like then you have to
Right.
appreciate the value.
Right.
Recognize that you're spending that extra money just so you can fit in and get the label and really recognize where it's coming from. And like it really taught me such a valuable life lesson because since then I was like, I like nice things. Like I like it when things are good quality, like real leather, real like fabrics, you know, like not synthetic. Like I really appreciate all that stuff, but I will not pay the extra money just for the label. You know, like just so that it has a label, like, oh, you could get a really, really nice handbag.
That's such a good lesson. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I know. I had the same thing with one of my kids. I don't remember who. Maybe it was also Yehuda. He came home last year. He wanted a spray ground knapsack. I'm like, okay, like I hear you. You can get a spray ground knapsack, but you can get it for your birthday. And if
Yeah.
that's what you want for your birthday present, I'm happy to buy that for you. But he also wanted a slew of other things. So in the end, he's like, it's not worth it. He
Yeah.
picked something else. In the end, he did get it for a different thing, whatever he earned it. But in the moment, it wasn't
Yeah.
valuable enough for him
Right.
to make that trade.
Right. Like when you give them the ability to weigh the values of things instead of just giving them everything they
Right.
want.
Then they don't like resent. They don't resent you for like. You're not the cause of their. You shouldn't be the cause anyway. You're never the
Anyways,
cause.
but they might tell that story.
They think that.
Yeah,
I know. Like
exactly.
the other day, Aaron, my second, he lost his Gemara. And then he's like, yeah, well, he started, well, you didn't let me do my homework. So then I left it somewhere. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, me and you, we don't have the same responsibilities and we don't have the same job. I work in the gallery. I work at home. I'm like, did I ask you to make me supper? I'm like, no, because that's not your job. I'm like, it's not my job to know about your homework and it's not my job to be in your class. It's your job. And if you left your Gemara somewhere and you didn't put it away, that's your problem. You lost it. It's nothing to do with me. Right? Like kids shouldn't feel resentful for us for like just their day-to-day life.
Right.
There's a separation. And if they do, then again, it's usually coming from this energetic pull. There's something going on there underneath the surface that you feel lacking for something and you're trying to compensate. And then they sense it and they pick up on it and they're like pulling on that.
They
like,
adopt it.
Yeah, they're pulling on those
Yeah.
energetic strings and they're like, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Like once you stop and you're like, wait, we're separate.
Right.
You know? Like you have your life. And I told that to Zachariah also, my 6-year-old, the other day. He was like, I need to do my homework. We forgot to sign it. And I was like, there's no we. If you want me to sign your homework from now on, you're in first grade. From now on until 12th grade, Zachariah. I'm like, your homework is your responsibility. You want me to sign it? You finish your homework, you bring me a pen and the signing sheet to my face, and I will sign it. Otherwise, I'm not thinking about it because it's
Right.
not my job.
Right.
It's just not. And people get so crazy when I say this. Like, they're like, you don't help your kids with homework? I'm like, do they help me with making dinner? Like, we both have our
I
own
agree.
responsibilities.
It's just I'll tell you, I think it's very hard because if you have that mindset from the beginning, then you could build your kids into that mindset. If you're that type of parent that's been doing everything and spoon feeding everything to your kids, it's very hard to make that switch. I know that for me personally, like I had to pick my battles, like before I got divorced and all that kind of stuff. It was very like every moment I just felt like, what can I do to cause as little strife as possible? Like that was my mindset. And it's not ideal, but it's like I felt like that's what I needed to do in the moment. And so like now backtracking and trying to like create those healthy like balances and like it's so much harder because it's so not what he's used
And
to.
we do a lot of things by route. Like, we don't even realize why we're doing it. We're just
Yeah.
like, you probably didn't even realize, like, it was subconscious. You just wanted to keep the peace and like,
Yeah, 100%.
just like you were just doing things. You didn't think about it. It was just like happening. And now
Well,
you're like,
it's like
wait.
survival mode. Like
Right.
we're just gonna like whatever it takes to keep things as like even keeled as possible. Like that's where we're gonna keep things. And like, and that was my motivation. And I don't fault myself. I don't blame myself for it because it makes sense given like the situation that I was in, that's what I was doing. But now it's like, it's so much harder because he's just like, but you never asked me to do this stuff before.
Right.
Like, and it's
Well,
just,
you're lucky. He's still very little. You could still pivot.
Right.
He's still 7.
Yes, but there's a lot of resistance to the pivoting and it's also different. Like also when you have two different, that's a whole separate conversation. It's two different households, two different parenting styles. It's like,
that's challenging in its own way.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. It's like, if you just say from the beginning, like we just do things differently and like, that's okay. And it might be completely opposite. And I know it's confusing for you, but like when you are in separate lives, the right attitude to have, I think the healthiest attitude to have is just it's separate. Like, I'm not going to tell you how you should do it, and you're not going to tell me how I should do it, because we're no longer married. We might share a kid together, but it's not worth the strife it may cause in trying to get on the same page with parenting. And like, if when you let go, I'm just finding what happens naturally is that when you let go and you're like, we're just going to do things differently, automatically what ends up happening is that you end up having those conversations and you end up doing things similarly. But when you try to like control or like get the other person to do something, it doesn't work.
Right.
When you just kind of like let go and you're like, okay, it's going to be different, and it's weird for the kid, and it might be a little bit like unsettling, but it's a lot more unsettling for the parents to fight about getting on the same page.
So true. So it's counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, that's just like a whole separate
A
conversation.
whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, back to like getting your kids to like have their own responsibility. I like to just think like, okay, so what's the worst that's going to happen? So if they don't do it, like if he doesn't do his homework, I know people are like, yeah, but my kid needs help. Okay, you can help your kid, but also there's a limit. Like if your kid, if your kid doesn't do the homework or doesn't know the homework, the Rebbe or teacher should understand that the kid can't do it. So then he's going to get help. If you're helping him the whole time, then again, it's not helping really in the end of the day. And also if you're helping and there's strife and whatever, and the kid doesn't do it, so then the kid will get a consequence. And then the kid will learn the lesson, right? So like, it's just, okay, so my kid will say, I don't want to do it. So then don't. That's your thing. You're going to go to school tomorrow and
have to explain it to your
Rebbe. Like, but then my teacher's going to be so strict with me. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
She should be strict with you, you know? Like, I don't know. And I think that a lot of times I did this also. I used to do so much more for my kids. And I was like always trying to like what you said, like just like make sure like all the technical parts were always set up and they're perfect. They didn't have to do anything. They just have to like be.
Lay out their clothes for them. Lay out that, like,
It happens
like
to me. I still love preparing their beds before bed just because like it's cozy. Like some things is just like.
It's an act of love. Yeah.
It's nice.
Doesn't mean you can't do anything. Like sometimes your kid will ask you to get them a drink and it's like, you have to wait in that moment. It's like, exactly. Like they want to feel taken care of in that moment.
So what happened was Yehuda woke up late on Monday morning. He's 13. He's my oldest, and he woke. I didn't even know he was home. Like I thought everybody was out. They walk to the bus at like 7:00. Like I didn't even think there was no like question in my mind that he was even home. Anyway, I'm about to go. I'm going to my room to get dressed. It's like 10:00, and then he just like opens the door, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" I was like so annoyed. I'm like, "Why are you here?" What? He's like, "I just woke up." So he was exhausted from the night before. I don't know what happened. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Like I'm putting on my clothes. I'm like, what's the answer? Like if I drive him to school, then he learns that waking up late is fine.
Right.
If I just tell him to walk, he'll get like really mad at me. And like, I don't want to do that. Like then I'm like, I think the real right thing to do is to tell him to walk to school. It's far, but like that would be, and then I'm like, you know what? I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm like, I'm going to drive. I'm going to bring him to the car. I'm telling him in the car, I'm driving him halfway. And then he could walk the rest. Like, that's a good compromise. Anyway, we get into the car, and he's like, I'm really not feeling well. I'm like, I told Abba last night I was really not feeling. I'm like, shoot, like, this is it. Like, he's pulling my heartstrings. Like, it's just something, there's something with the oldest. So then I'm like, okay, Yehuda, I'm dropping you off halfway. And, like, he already thought that was happening. So in his mind, it was done. Like, he already got his consequence. Like, he was, like, already anticipating walking. Like, he was breaking it down in his head that, like, it already felt so bad for him. And then we kept driving and driving. He's like, so you're going to drop me off? I'm like, yeah. I ended up like driving him to Darche because I just felt so bad for him. But I felt like the message came through anyway because he already had to chew it up the whole time in the car. When is she going to drop me off? When is she going to drop me off? You know? But like it was just about like the intention of knowing that, wait, I'm not just going to just coddle him and just drive him because I love him so much, which I do. And that's what I wanted to do that.
Right.
I want to just come home with a present and just, spoil them. But it's just not good for the long run. It's not, we're not raising healthy, functioning, consequential human beings who understand cause and effect. Like, where you have to know what you're putting in is what you're getting out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that naturally we don't really want to do that. And our generation especially, because we're going the other way.
There's an amazing book called Hunt, Gather, Parent. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
And it's kind of like this. This woman went to she went to third world countries because she had a really difficult kid, little, but like difficult. And she tried all the Western modern parenting techniques and none of them were working. And she's like, we're getting something wrong. She's like, also, if you just look at the rate of depression and all that kind of stuff, like why are we consulting our culture for parenting when it's clearly not working and other cultures and civilizations are so much happier? So she went to these third world countries. She was staying in someone's house in like it was like Aztec or a Mayan. It was like a Mayan village, and she's staying in someone's house. And there's like the 12-year-old daughter gets up, and it's like spring break, and she gets up and she just starts doing the dishes. And she's like, "Why are you doing the dishes?" And she's like, "Because I like to help my mother." And she's like, "Okay, so like when you're not helping your mother, what do you like to do?" She's like, "I like to help my siblings." And she was just, and she really got like this girl got like real satisfaction out of it. And she was just like, what is happening? Like, how do you create this human being? And the concept is that basically what we do is we sacrifice our own lives, and we basically step into our children's worlds, and like we're constantly sheltering them, making things easier for them, and like stepping into like their world. And so that when they eventually have to step out of like being a kid or whatever it is, they have no skills and tools because your parents did everything for them. What they do is that they don't stop anything that they do on a regular basis for the sake of their kids. So it's like we're cleaning the house today. From the time the kid is a year old, they're participating. It's like, it's about bringing the kids into their world. It's like, if I want to go hang out with my friends and the kids are home, I'm bringing the kids with me, and they're going to learn how to act in a cafe. And like, it's about taking the kids into like your world and teaching them how to like act. And it's like, instead of us, like, let's say your kids are bored, instead of taking them to like amusement parks or this or that or whatever, it's like, what do you want to do on a day when you're off? And then like you do that, and then you just bring the kids with you.
I know, but I remember doing that with my mother when I was little, and I was so bored.
Right. I think it's a balance. Like, I think that it's, you know, like in these cultures also, like school structure is different. They're playing outside much more. It's a totally different thing. Like, I was reading this book, again, all these books that you read, she was like, I threw out all my kids' toys. Like, why do they need artificial entertainment? Like, give them a piece of stick, go outside and like play and keep yourself entertained. I hear the idea, but there's value behind that. Yeah.
Right.
Like, we don't need so many toys, but I wouldn't throw out all the toys. I would just be like,
right. We don't have to center our world over our kids. I do hear that.
Yeah. Like it's the idea of like, if
your
there's
kids
something,
are people, they're just little people.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So like if you need to cook for Shabbos, like we tell kids like from a very young age, like in Israel, they have this, I think, a little better than we do.
Much better, yeah.
Yeah, but like it's kind of just like, okay, if I let my kid come help me cook for Shabbos, like it's going to make kids or whatever, it's going to make a mess, it's going to take longer, I'm not doing it. So for years, it's like no one's allowed in the kitchen. And then all of a sudden when your kid gets older, you're like, well, come help me in the kitchen.
Right.
It's like my entire life you've been telling me this is not for you. And now all of a sudden you want me to like come help. It's not fair to your kid. It's like you have to train them young.
It's true.
And kids by nature are helpful. Like if you give an 18-month-old a diaper and you tell them to go put it in the garbage, like you literally just made their world. Like they're so happy.
So true.
They want to help. And like
true.
they want to be part of, like they look at the adults and they just want to be part of the action.
So true.
And we're just like, you know what? Go play, leave me alone. Like, or here's a screen, leave me alone. And then all of a sudden when they get older, we have these expectations.
It's also, besides for the fact that we just say, leave me alone, we don't build up their confidence.
Yeah.
Because confidence comes from feeling like you contribute.
Competency.
Competence, right.
Yeah.
So just for that, like it's worth it.
Yeah.
To get them, because I don't really like when they help. It's annoying.
It's very annoying. It takes quadruple the amount of time, mess, and energy. It's like it's very annoying.
And then they ask you 100 questions. You're like, it's not helpful when you ask me questions.
Yeah.
Like,
but I see the difference. Like when I come home with the groceries, it would be much faster if I just unpacked it. But I'll be like, Yechiel, come help me unpack the groceries. And then it takes way longer, but I'm showing him how I take this out of the container and I pour it into this, and I'm showing him the whole process. And like it took way longer, but afterwards he was in the best mood. It was like we did something together.
Right.
Like he was just, he was just part of, he felt like he mattered. Yeah, he felt like he mattered. And it was, it was pretty amazing. Maybe I'm like a sucker for Instagram ads. I don't know. Do you know the Skylight? Have you seen ads for it?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, I bought it. It's life-changing.
It's life-changing.
Oh my gosh. I saw the ad.
About it.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw an ad.
I it in the gallery. You're like, oh, okay, fine, we'll look into it.
I saw the ad. I saw like this perfect family of 7 kids all like checking off their chores and like
it's literally saves my life.
Oh my gosh. Like I'm not missing appointments anymore. I'm not like I saw it. I didn't even hesitate. I'm like $300. Sure, my life is going to change.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. Nasano bought one for his office, and we're all connected on the app.
Yeah.
It's bar mitzvahs, everything, all the appointments, it's all there.
And so we do it with chores and like rewards and stars and whatever. And it also it removed me so much of like me reminding him that like, this is your morning routine. Do this, do this, do this. I had to be on top of him for every single step. Now I'm just like, what's on your chore chart? And like, he just goes and he checks it off and like, he gets ready on his own. And like, I told him I could give him 3 or 4 reminders just to like, you know, I don't need to tell you, go eat breakfast. It's like, what's next? You know, just to keep the morning going. And like,
Skylight's great.
Yeah, it was like I saw it and I was like, I knew it was gonna be. He also loves. Some kids just love that, like making lists
I know. My kids
and
go
checking
on
things off and like Yeah, he's constantly adding. He has a wish list.
That's so
So like
cute.
every
I
few
love
minutes,
that.
yeah. So every few minutes he goes and he adds things that he wants to his
Him
wish
and
list.
Zakaria. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell Zakaria to put stuff on his wish list. Such a good idea.
Yeah. So now it's just like when I feel like I want to buy him something or like it's Hanukkah or whatever it is, I know exactly what he wants.
That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
totally doing that.
Yeah. Husbands and wives should do that too. Wish lists are the best. Like instead of buying a present that like you don't know if the person, like that's what we used to do. It was like a folder and I would just like send links and like put stuff in the folder and then it's like, okay, when it's like present time, like just get me something that's in the
So
folder.
smart, so practical.
Yeah, because it's like then you don't have to guess and then I know that I like it.
Right. No, I love that.
I mean, some people are just like, but it takes away the like,
No,
and it doesn't.
no, because then if you buy me something stupid, I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah, and then you have to pretend to like it, or not. Depends on the person.
Did I tell you that story? What happened with Nisano?
No.
So basically, I really wanted like a diamond bracelet for my birthday.
Okay.
And I did. It's not on my hand, but anyway. So I told him like a bunch of times last year, like I really want a diamond, and like he kind of listened. And I remember each time he's like, He clearly didn't hear me. It was like selective hearing. Anyway, as it gets closer to my birthday, he has a reminder on his phone because like he needs a reminder. So,
but it's on his phone and it's not you.
it's on his phone, whatever. Say no more. So anyway, it's getting closer. It's my birthday. I know he remembers because I see the reminders. I'm like, okay, he's gonna buy me the bracelet. Like, I'm so excited. And then like a few weeks before my birthday, I sent him a link to a perfume that I wanted, like the Harmonious. They're not cheap. And like, I'm like, okay, by the way, I really want this perfume. He
Got you the perfume.
understood the memo. So then it comes to the day of my birthday, he comes home with like this really nice bag and he puts it on the coffee table and like it looks discreet and it looks very like expensive. And then he goes to his office. It's like, okay, fine. I guess he wants to open it later. So then later on in the night, I go to his office and I'm like, okay, do you want to like open the bag? And he's like, no, I'm busy. I'm on a call. Later. I'm like, okay, fine, later. I'm like, you know what? We'll just do it tomorrow. It's fine. So the next day we're sitting down by the couch and I'm like, okay, so should we open the bag now? He's like, yeah, totally. And then I open it up and it's the perfume.
Right, yeah, obviously.
Wait. And then I couldn't, the whole time I thought it was the bracelet. So I couldn't, it wasn't possible for me to contain myself. Like I was just like, it's the wrong scent. Like I was just like, it's not the right scent. And he was like, what are you saying? He's like, this is what you like, I bought you perfume. And I was like, I didn't even want perfume. Like he's like, oh my gosh, he felt so embarrassed. I'm like, no, I love perfume. It's fine. And the end, like he returned it. He got me the other scent that I wanted. But I was like, did you not realize that I wanted the bracelet? He was like, I didn't realize like you actually were like being serious. Yeah. Anyway, I still don't have it. But the point was, it was a really funny story. And
it's really funny.
Yeah.
But it's also I feel like it's a very common story and it could go so many different ways. Like it could go either really wrong or really right. And I think that's that's where like maturity comes in, is that like I think like on the wife's role in that situation is to try and like, you know, put your husband's feelings first, even though it's really hard, but then sometimes you just can't control yourself.
No, it was
immediate.
Robot,
and then the guy in that situation needs to like, it's not about ego, it's about making the person happy and like, okay, so like it's not the perfume.
No, we ended up laughing. Now it's the funniest story. But in the moment, it was just like
disappointing.
Yeah, but I'm very into wish lists. Why, like, let everybody know what you want.
Yeah.
Like, what's the big deal?
I remember my father like brought home. He went to China for like work once when I was a kid, and he came home and he brought me like I think a jewelry box, and I really didn't like it. And he gave it to me, and I was little, and I didn't know how to handle the fact that I didn't like it. But I also so appreciated that he got me gifts. I just started crying. I was just like, thank you, and like went into my room, and I was just like, I hate this.
That's so cute though.
Because like I felt so guilty for not liking it, but also like so. Like I just felt so guilty because like he got me a present,
That's so
but
sweet
like
of you.
but I hated it.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But that's like sensitive that you knew that.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, but it's something that I also had to learn. Like I'm so practical that sometimes I can like bulldoze past the feelings. So it's just like, but I don't like it. So like I'm just gonna tell you that I don't like it, and then it's like because at the end of the day you're getting a present from me and you want me to like it. So like my logical, practical brain was just like, okay, there's like. Okay, but like at the end of the day, if you're spending that much money, you want me to like it. Like,
right.
You know, like you don't want me wearing a piece of jewelry or a purse or something that like I genuinely dislike for like all eternity. So I'm just gonna let you know that I don't like it and we'll exchange it.
Right, yeah.
I'm
We've
like
exchanged plenty of things.
But like that doesn't always go over so well. You have to be sensitive.
You have to be sensitive and you have to know who you're dealing with.
Exactly.
So,
know your audience.
Yeah, know your audience. But like no, I'd much rather take me with you. It doesn't have to be a surprise.
husbands out there, best thing you could do, if it's jewelry, is call the jewelry store, give them a budget, and then make an appointment and send your wife.
Yeah, or go together.
Go together.
Go together.
Yeah.
Make it a date. Like
Exactly.
that's the best. I love when we
Yeah.
go together. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't need anytime he brings home jewelry, it's a surprise. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's
It was-
I'm like, you're not buying this for me. I know who you're buying it for, but it's not for me.
As
You
I got
know?
older, I used to be involved. Like when my father would buy jewelry for my mother, like he used to send me pictures from the jewelry store. I always obviously pick the most expensive thing because that's just how it works. But one time he came home and he bought my mother a pin. And it's like, I would wear a pin just because I like vintage things and whatever it is. But like then it was like, only grandmothers wear pins. Like it's not a thing. And it wasn't just like a regular pin. It was like a leaf, but it looked like a centipede. Like it had all these little like legs coming off of it. And he came home and I was like, you cannot give that to her. It looks like a centipede.
Oh my gosh.
I think I was like in 9th or 10th grade. And he's like, why? I really love it. And I'm like, Abba, like, no. And he's like, I'm going to give it to her. And he gave it to her and she opened it. And the first thing she said is like, it looks like a centipede. I was like, I know my audience. Like, you should have listened to me.
That's so
It
funny.
was very funny.
Men don't know jewelry. They
Yeah.
don't have to.
No. And also, everyone has such specific taste. Like, the jewelry that I like is not necessarily what most other women like. So you can't even rely on, like, your sister's
Right.
opinion or your mother's opinion. Like, you can't necessarily rely on that because everyone has such different tastes.
No, I can rely on my sister's
Okay,
opinion.
sister. Yeah, yeah.
Just not my mother-in-law's opinion. Like we have different tastes, very different.
Yeah.
She'll tell me straight up, like, your taste is hideous. And I'll be like, no, your taste is hideous. Like it's just totally Tom
Right.
like opposite, you know?
Yeah.
So Nasanal, growing up, naturally, that's what he knew. Like that's what he associated beauty with, or
It's true. My father
jewelry.
picks out
What your grandmother
likes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I'm like, Nasanal, I know who you're buying this for, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never wearing this.
Yeah.
You know, so it's he's still learning.